everybody, and welcome to the Makers in Minnesota, where we talk to cool people doing cool things. And today we're eating some cool things. We're eating JoMomma's salsa, and I'm here with Wayne Kemper. And Wayne, you have entered into the salsa game in a big way, from starting out like a lot of people start out with making it for friends and family. Give us your story about JoMomma's.
That you are correct. It started with friends and families. I actually started at the hockey rinks. My friend Tony came up with the recipes. He was sharing it after a Ullman hockey game. And so typically guys get together, they share a drink and they share whatever they have to bring. And eventually what happened was Tony was bringing like 300 of these tubs a week to the hockey rink because people are kept on asking it, saying that we want to buy it. So we started selling it. And it's kind of evolved from there. And so what happened was Tim is our other best friend and myself. He asked us to help him. And I declined many times. And then it got to a point where it was a weekend. We were going to the pool and I was trying to get Tony to come with, and he was sitting over this 1 gallon Ninja blender sweating. And I said, we're going to the pool, come on with us. And he said, he can't. He says, I have about 300 of these to make. And I said, well, this is just silly. I said, I'm out of here. So I went to the pool. And at that point, I started researching bigger blenders for Tony. And I bought him a 6-gallon blender, brought it to him and said, here, just take this. I can't watch you do this anymore. This is just silly. And so at that point, Tim was with me at that point as well. And Tony asked again, will you help me? And I said I would if Tim would. And Tim had a pizza place. He does have a pizza place called Bell Pizza in Cottage Grove. So I knew that we'd have a kitchen.
Yep.
And so that's how we started. We were making salsa after hours in the pizza place after we got figured out how to make everything legitimate. Obviously, I wasn't from the food business at that point. Had a little bit of business background though. And so we started making it after hours at 11, 12 o'clock at night after we get done with the regular jobs, and make salsa till sometimes 5 in the morning and get ready. We started doing some farmers markets, and that's how we started. It was just so we graduated to a bigger blender, and actually we still use that blender today.
And do you primarily drive sales through farmers markets, or are you at retail at this point?
We actually have we have a distributor, and we're in grocery now. So we're in Cub, Hy-Vee, Festival Foods, Super Ones, and when COVID hit, we kind of got, obviously everything went away as far as the sampling, and that was a big deal. So when we actually started, we were a fresh salsa, and we just started to gain some momentum, and then COVID came across and pretty much knocked us backwards, where we had to reevaluate what we were going to do as a business, because just getting into the stores and getting some visibility, and then everybody stopped going to the stores.
Right.
And so our model had changed at that point. And so the decision was either we pack up and call it, okay, we're done, or move to a shelf-stable version, which gave us an opportunity to ship it across country, and to be a little more flexible logistically than we were. So that's what we did. We made the change.
So from going into a packaged version, now that the stores are more open, do you think you'll go back to having a fresh line too, or will you just stay with the shelf stable?
I'd say that everything is open to in the future, but right now our focus really is on the shelf stable version of our salsa. I think it's our future, and we have had some opportunities to go back into fresh, but I think right now we really want to focus on getting our product more visible and people trying it. And I think it's the best opportunity for us just to get our brand out in front of each other, out in front of people the way it is.
The salsa community is so competitive. Obviously there's just a ton of competitors nationally, and then you have the local folks and somebody like Salsa Lisa, who really was able to grab a ton of market share early on. You have something that's unique though with the pineapple, mango, and habanero salsa. What are your best sellers?
Our best seller is actually our original version, which is a medium version. And then it's pretty much even all the way across the board for our other four flavors. I think what sets us apart is we have a little bit of a different flavor. It's kind of, we like to call it a flavor roll. There's a sweet front to it, then there's a tart, and then you get the vegetables and the heat in the back end, which I think is a little bit different than what we see out there on the market. And I think that's what has been our success is it's something that's unexpected typically in the salsa world.
I love that you called it the flavor roll. I could totally see that. So in terms of the partnership, is it hard to be in business with your best friends? Like, has there been any times where it's gotten a little weird?
No, we'll always be best friends. We have a pretty solid relationship. It's been difficult as far as trying to sustain it. At one time, we were all working together, but the business, once we went through COVID, couldn't sustain everybody. And so, we had to look for other jobs, or the other guys had to get a full-time job so that we could actually keep the business moving forward. I stayed on full time. So we're just, the challenges that are thrown at us are different. And we just try to make sure that we keep our relationship in the forefront and have been able to do that, which is nice.
And that's not uncommon. When we had our business, we had like 3 years under our belt, and then all of a sudden it couldn't sustain the two people it was sustaining. So one had to go get work and do the work on the evenings and the weekends that needed to be done. And then eventually we were able to bring her back, and then all three of us together. But you do have to make hard choices sometimes. And who knew that a pandemic was coming, right?
Right.
Only happens every 100 years or so. So when you think about how to get people to try your salsa, like what is your strategy? Are you doing events? Are you doing markets? Like, how are you getting this into people's mouths? And if you get it into their mouth, are they likely to buy it?
Well, that's a great question. That was one of the things that we were doing early on is we did a lot of events. We did any farmers market that we could get into, but our focus really was on large events. And we were fortunate enough to be invited to quite a few events. We were at a Minnesota Gopher football game. We were at, I'm just trying to think, there was countless KTIS event. And so we were able to get it out there. And the reason that we really went into business and thought this was a viable product was from the farmers markets. When we were keeping track of our sales there, 84% of the people that tried our product bought it. And I thought that was enough for us
high.
To say this is a business. And, just the feedback that we get from people when they try our product is phenomenal. Most of the time I've heard different things, but the most common one is I could just drink this stuff is what we hear most commonly. But I remember we've heard numerous times, I just eat it with a spoon and like soup. So it's
right,
kind of fun to
like
hear.
Like gazpacho almost.
Right, and we call it the JoMomma's smile. So what I would tell people as we were going out and we were sampling and doing some of those events, I said, just watch their faces. We call it the JoMomma's smile. Is when people try it, there's a reaction that I've never seen with any other food, where the smile comes across. And I said, that's it. That's JoMomma's smile. And that's what we're looking for.
That's nice. You could maybe bottle that at some point.
Right.
So for this summer, where will people be able to find you this spring and summer?
We're going to try to look for any events that we can get out to. We're still, the hockey world is our bread and butter. And we're trying to look at some golf tournaments. But also we're starting a fundraising program, which I think is really important to our success and for us to give back, because everything is really comes out of the hockey world as far as our salsa. So we're trying to honor the parents out there, the moms and dads that have to take the kids around to, all these different rinks and put the time in. If we can do a fundraising program that can help, alleviate some of that financial hardship, I think it would be a a great program for everybody.
So have you started that? Like, are you thinking, like we'll sell you a case of salsa at this lower reduced rate and then the kids can resell it as their fundraiser?
That's exactly what we're talking about. And we should be introducing that new program as early as April.
Neat. And then you get all these evangelists too that are on your side. I haven't heard that very much with local products. Like you see it a lot of with national products or pizzas or cookie doughs. So that seems like a good opportunity for you.
Right. And why not salsa? The pizzas and the cookie doughs and the breads and sure, salsa. Perfect thing, because we think it is a sports-oriented product. People are typically getting this, no matter, not even hockey, it's football, Super Bowls,
right,
gatherings. Salsa is a huge product. And so, any type of gathering, sporting event, we feel that salsa goes with that.
All right. Well, it's great to talk with you at JoMomma's Salsa. I'm excited to see where this goes for you guys and to find you on my local shelf.
Yes.
So I'll be looking at Cub and Hy-Vee, and I hope I want to try the pineapple mango.
Wonderful. Well, I'll send some over to you, Stephanie.
It seems like it would be great with fish. So
yes, actually it is great with fish. We did a spot on Care 11 when we started actually. And one of the items that we did was a salmon with the pineapple mango.
Yum. Love it. All right. Well, thanks for your time today, Wayne. And I look forward to helping support you through the Makers in Minnesota, and good luck.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Stephanie.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye now.